Welcome into the Alabama Football Report. I am Tom Downey. As promised, it is our spring game winners and losers. We'll do some recap stuff in the sense that the Crimson team beat the White team 30-21. The score doesn't really matter that much. No one remembers beyond the first couple of days. It's all about the individual performances. So we'll break those down. But first, did you watch the spring game this year? Totally fine if you didn't, whether you maybe don't have ESPN Plus or whatever, since they showed Colorado and Coach Prime's spring day instead. Did you watch it? Y for yes, N for no. Go ahead and sound off for us in the comment section if you watched the spring game this year. Let's break down the winners first and foremost, because we'll be positive, right? Malachi Moore, the defensive back who corner, maybe some safety, give it a little bit of mix and match there, maybe do some of the I guess it's the Minkah Fitzpatrick star role. It was the Brian Branch star role last year. He won the Dixie Howell Memorial Award, which is given to the MVP of the ADay spring game, and I think that makes sense. I thought Moore played very well in that game for the Crimson Tide. We have the stats for you, courtesy of the Alabama website. 9 tackles, 3 sacks. That led to 3 TFLs, because sacks counts as TFL, because it's a tackle for loss still. That makes sense. 1 pass breakup as well. We'll get to his victim in terms of the results in a little bit, but very impressive showing out of Malachi Moore. So name a spring game winner for the Crimson Tide this year if you watched. I'm sure we'll have some similar names here coming up, but go ahead and sound off for me in the comments section. Justice Haynes is next up. We had talked a lot about Haynes leading up to the spring game, about what kind of impact he could end up having. I was very impressed by his performance. 10 carries, 4 catches, 63 total yards in the end for Haynes. It was 23 yards on the ground, 40 yards through the air, 3 total touchdowns. Justice Haynes, I fully expect, will play a significant role in year 1 as a true freshman for the Crimson Tide. Here's what Nick Saban said post-game about Haynes and his spring. Justice is a really good player. He had a great spring. He's got great maturity about him. You wouldn't know he's a freshman if you didn't know better. Nothing is too big for him in terms of learning, going out, and executing. He's not intimidated by anything. The guy's got great toughness. He can run behind his pads. He's got good speed. He's a good receiver. He can make you miss. I think he's got a really bright future. I think he will contribute to the team this year. I mean, no disrespect towards Roydell Williams, towards Jason McClellan, etc. I am very excited to see what Justice Haynes does as a freshman. Now, speaking of this upcoming year, spring ball's over. We got a few weeks, several months, I should say, off until fall practices begin. So predict Alabama football's record this year. The ad break comes here on YouTube. Take advantage of it. Head down there, go vote for the record this year for the Crimson Tide. A name I didn't expect to give some praise to, and probably a miss by us in the past, Danny Lewis Jr., the tight end. He got the start, quote-unquote. It's, rotation stuff with the White team. C.J. Dupree also got plenty of work there at the tight end spot. We know that Alabama is going to utilize tight ends more this year, and Danny Lewis caught all 4 of his targets for 30 yards. Alabama, I think, will run the ball a lot more this year. We'll get to the quarterbacks later on, of course. Keep an eye on Danny Lewis, the redshirt freshman this year. You knew Malik Benson would be on here. The number 1 hype train player this offseason, or this spring, I should say, for Alabama, delivered in the spring game. 7 targets, 5 catches, 70 yards, and a touchdown. With some other receivers maybe not putting together their best stuff. Again, stay tuned for the loser side, unfortunately. The number 1 JUCO recruit in the nation, Malik Benson, I think is primed to make a big impact for the Crimson Tide. If you want to run a lot of play action stuff and take shots vertically downfield, Benson is a great fit there. 2 more defensive players. We're going even split. It just happened to be, as I look here now, all defensive backs. Teaser alert. I thought Jake Pope played really well. The safety, 10 tackles, a sack, a TFL, 2 pass breakups. Yeah, sure, the DBs in general got beat a handful of times as well. There are no advanced coverage stats, unfortunately, to show. But I thought Jake Pope showed some nice promise, made some nice plays, and with some uncertainty still in the Alabama secondary, I think he helped himself out in a pretty big way. Now, if you want more Alabama football videos all season, off-season, 365, recruiting ramping up, there were, I think it was 26 players, or recruits, I should say, at the spring day. I believe that's the number I saw. Well, then subscribe. Free videos every single day right here, youtube.com/@RollTideTV. Another newcomer, another true freshman, Caleb Downs, the younger brother of soon-to-be NFL receiver Josh Downs, had an interception. If you actually look at the stat graphic here behind it, it's the pick of Caleb Downs. And look at that high pointing. Looks like he's playing receiver, right? 8 tackles, the interception there. I think much like Justice Haynes, Caleb Downs will make an impact in year 1 for the Crimson Tide. There's the need, and there is the obvious just straight-up ability for Downs at safety. If you haven't already, now is the time to get your Alabama football hoodies on sale. Up to 40% off, quarter zips also included, by the way. Chatsports.com/Bama hoodie. Link will be in the comment section and in the description of today's show. Spring game losers time. We begin with the quarterbacks. Ty Simpson, who, look, spring game is tough on quarterbacks. It allows you to run the ball a little bit more frequently. What Nick Saban has preached and tried to instill into this again after the game is don't make the big mistake. And Ty Simpson made the big mistake, a bad interception in this one. And he just wasn't accurate as a passer. He was 12 of 26. That's not, and look, he's playing with the second team offense. All of that is fair. But I didn't love what I saw out of Ty Simpson. And frankly, I didn't love what I saw out of Jalen Milroe either. Now, Simpson had 6 carries, 48 yards, 1 nice long run. Milroe had 13 for 20. He also took 7 sacks, which really brought down the rushing yards. Because remember, in college, sacks go against your rushing yard numbers. It's kind of dumb, but whatever. 19 of 37, also not that great. 3 total scores, but he had 2 interceptions. So your quarterbacks combined for 3 interceptions in the spring game, and I get you're playing against Alabama's defense, right? That is still a red flag. So I don't think this quarterback battle is decided. I thought Dylan Lonergan actually played pretty well, but it was a very small chance, and certainly still feels like it's Milroe Simpson, barring some surprise change in that standpoint. I think Milroe has the advantage, but neither guy really blew me away in the way I was hoping one of them would have really impressed. I think this might come down to who takes care of the football more. Right now, both guys have question marks. So pick a quarterback. 4 for Jalen Milroe or 15 for Ty Simpson. Go ahead and vote in the comment section. Who do you want as Bama's starting quarterback? We're going heavy on the offensive side for the losers, and Jermaine Burton, you got to catch the football, my guy. That was the big issue in this game. 6 targets, 2 catches, 66 yards, had a big-time downfield play, but he had multiple drops. I didn't chart the numbers, but it was 2 or 3, I believe. Burton, you can't do that. You're not going to get, I think, in this Bama offense, that many chances, so the sample size will always be lower. You got to catch the football. Burton's size, the athletic ability is there, but the number one job as a pass catcher is to catch the pass. If you're not doing that, it's not great. You can also be mean, like I guess I am right now, and name a spring game loser in the comment section. Go ahead and sound off for me. Who are you not impressed by in the spring game? I'm going to cheat by naming the pass protection. 12 sacks in total. So good job defense, not so good job offense. Quarterbacks get some blame there too far on the football. 7 sacks of Jalen Milroe. And I thought left tackle Elijah Pritchett really struggled in this one with speed off the edge. That's why Malachi Moore burnt him 3 different times for sacks, or at least burnt the O-line for 3 sacks in that game. Maybe what you could consider is try Caden Proctor over there at left tackle, and then maybe you kick Elijah Pritchett inside. Maybe you give him more tight end help. I know Tommy Rees likes to use tight ends, so I was fairly underwhelmed by the Alabama offensive line performance. It's going to have to be better because you want to make life easier on your non-Bryce Young quarterback. That was an issue last year. Bryce Young was constantly under pressure. Now you lose several starters. You're going to need somebody, or really somebodies, to step up and make life easier on the quarterbacks this year.